Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be solving question number 11 to question number 20 from chapter 1, making measurements. Let's take a look at question number 11. A student measures the volume of a quantity of water. Which apparatus is suitable? Now, to measure the quantity of water, we'll be using a measuring cylinder. So the correct answer is option B. Let's look at question number 12. Which list places units of length in increasing order of magnitude? So now we have to arrange all of these in increasing order of magnitude. We have been given with centimeter, millimeters and meter. The smallest of these three is millimeter. So we have millimeter, and centimeter is larger than millimeter and meter is larger than centimeter. So we have to look for an option which looks like millimeter with an arrow to centimeter to an arrow to meter, because we are arranging them in increasing order. So if you look at this will be option B. Question 13. A teacher asks a student to measure the volume of a pencil sharpener. Which piece of apparatus would not be useful? So let's see which of these cannot be used to measure volume. So the first option is beaker. Of course, we can measure the volume using a beaker. A displacement can, that using that we can also measure the volume. Balance. So we cannot use balance to measure the volume of a beaker, volume of a pencil sharpener. A balance used to measure the mass of an object. So here option C would be the answer. If I look at option B, measuring cylinder, of course, we use measuring cylinder to measure the volume of substances. Let's look at question 14. Which instrument is most suitable for measuring the thickness of a single sheet of paper? So the thickness of a single sheet of paper is very small, so we would use a micrometer screw gauge to measure the thickness. Question 15. A student is taking some measurements. Which measurement is taken directly using a micrometer screw gauge? Now let's look at all of these measurements. So it's 52 gram per millimeter square. Now gram per millimeter square, let's look at this millimeter squared. So if I look at the distance unit, millimeter square gives us the unit of is the quantity which is area. And we certainly know using a micrometer screw gauge we can only find what is the distance. We cannot find what is the area. We can either find what is the length or thickness or breadth. So here this is incorrect. Option A is incorrect. Option B, millimeter cube represents the quantity which is volume. So here we cannot measure this. Then millimeter, yes, of course we can measure the thickness or length, which will be in terms of millimeters using a micrometer screw gauge. So option C is correct. Again, option D deals with millimeter square, again which has to do with area. So the correct answer is option C. Let's take a look at question number 16. For which purpose is a micrometer screw gauge suitable? First option is measuring the current in a coil that is known to be about 3 into 10 power minus 6 ampere. So to measure current, we'll use ammeter. So option A is incorrect. Let's look at option B. Measuring the diameter of a ball bearing that is known to be about 3 into 10 power minus 3 meter. So this is the correct option. We can measure the diameter or thickness of a ball bearing. Let's take a look at other things. Measuring the mass of a grain of sand that is known to be 3 into 10 power minus 3 gram. A micrometer screw gauge is a distance measuring instrument. We cannot measure mass using micrometer screw gauge. So option C is incorrect. Let's look at option D. Measuring the moment used to turn a screw that is known to be about 3 into 10 power minus 6 Newton meter. Again, we can't measure forces using a micrometer screw gauge. So the only option that is correct is option B. Let's look at question number 17. The diagram shows a stone of irregular shape. Which property of the stone can be found by lowering it into a measuring cylinder half filled with water? So we have an irregular shaped object. So by using a measuring cylinder filled with water, I can find what is the volume of the stone. So the correct option is option C. Let's look at question number 18. Which piece of apparatus is most suitable for measuring the mass of a pencil sharpener? Now let's underline what we are measuring. We are measuring the mass of the substance. If we are measuring the mass, we'll have to use a digital balance. So the correct option is option A. Let's look at question number 19. The diagram shows a plastic rod alongside a ruler. What is the length of the rod? Now this is kind of a tricky question. So here you might say, okay, there is like 1, 2, there's like, okay, 1, 2, 3 and half of this. So this might look like 3.5 and you will be tempted to just tick off this option B. But what we have to observe carefully is whether the graduations are fun. So first let's write down the graduation of this ruler. So from 0 to 5, let's see, there are 5 divisions in total. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means if I take this 10 upon 2, 10 upon 5 is 2. That means the graduation is 2 centimeter. That means if I have 2 here, the next division will be at 4 centimeter, 6 centimeter, 8 centimeter, 10 centimeter. And if this goes on, this will become 12 centimeter, 14 centimeter and so on. Now in this diagram, we have to look at what is the starting position and ending position of the object. The object starts at 2 centimeter and the object ends at this point. So this would be 9 centimeters because this is halfway between 8 and 10. So if I have to measure what's the total length of this plastic rod, it would be 9 minus 2. So whatever is the final reading minus the initial reading of the plastic rod. So 9 minus 2 is 7. So the correct option is 7.0 centimeters. Alright, let's look at the next question. A student has a measuring cylinder containing water and also has a balance. Which of these could she use to find volume of a small metal sphere? She has no other apparatus. Okay, so we have a measuring cylinder containing water and she also has a balance. So measuring cylinder containing water can be used to find volume of the substance and a balance can be used to find the mass of the substance. Let's look at this, and we know we have to find the volume of a small metal sphere. To find the volume, we would not require this balance. So we can only measure volume using this measuring cylinder. Let's look at option A, either the measuring cylinder containing water or the balance. This is incorrect because balance cannot measure what is the volume of water or what is the volume of the substance. It can only measure its mass. So first option is incorrect. Let's look at the second option, the measuring cylinder containing water only. That is the correct answer. Let's look at the third and fourth one, balance only. That is incorrect. Neither measuring cylinder nor the balance. That's also incorrect. So the correct option is option B.